Hey guys, so my name is Selena Hill. I'm an award-winning multimedia journalist and the deputy digital editor at Black Enterprise. Thank you. I am also the founder of Be Her Talk, an award-winning talk show that adds a taste of trap music, AOC, and spice to unseasoned news. Before I get to that part, let me just say, I am super excited to be here in celebration of the 6-year anniversary of the C-Suite Coach. Give it up! So why are we here tonight? Obviously, it's to celebrate Angelina Darsar because she is the founder of the C-Suite Coach. So a round of applause for her. She's in the back looking beautiful. We will also hear from a distinguished panel of experts on leadership like Chase's Sekou Kaalund, Wells Fargo's Ahtis Davis, and noted executive coach Dr. Carla Michelle. And then we have a performance from KAMAUU. I said that right? KAMAUU, thank you. You've seen him on Insecure. He's also from Brooklyn. I'm excited to see him sing. So, now. I think you're a panelist. I think not this time. Next time we're gonna get you to sing. So, and this is also an opportunity to meet people. I know we're all super excited to be back outside. I feel like outside has just been calling me. You know, like I just can't get enough now that it's 2021. So please meet a new friend, network, and of course congratulate Angelina for the success that she has achieved over the last 6 years. Now, I first met Angelina at a dinner that I think it was the National Urban League was doing, and I was looking at her and I was just like, oh my God, I know you. We met before, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And she was like, I was like, did you go to there? I started naming events. She was like, no. And I was just like, oh, you're the woman from my magazine. She was all over Black Enterprise. Okay, like the website, the featured magazine. She was speaking at all of our events, and I recognized her from being in the magazine. And from there, this was like a few years ago, I noticed that Black Enterprise was covering not only her career journey, but her entrepreneurial journey. And not only that, earlier this year, she was listed on our coveted 40 under 40 list. She was. She also has spoken at so many events, like I said, including our signature Women of Power event. She was also a guest on my show earlier this year. It's called The New Norm with Selena Hill. It streams across all of Black Enterprise's streaming networks. Sekou has been on there too, fun fact. And on the show, she gave one of the most compelling and gripping interviews. She talked about how, while going through a tough divorce, she was able to raise 7-figure revenue for her company during one of the most turbulent times of her life. And I still thank you for being that vulnerable and brave in an interview with me. It's hard to get people to open up, but I'm so happy that she was brave enough and courageous enough to talk about that. And now to see her prosper here in 2021. Not only is that just an amazing feat in itself, but when we consider the fact that only 2% of women-owned businesses earn $1 million in revenue, according to a 2018 Entrepreneur Report. So, Angelina is part of that 2%. And according to Amex's State of Women-Owned Business Report, Black women earned an average revenue of just $24,000 per firm versus $142,900 amongst all women-owned businesses. Needless to say, being a business owner is hard. Being a Black business owner adds an extra level of complexity, while being a Black woman in business is an even greater challenge. And according to McKinsey & Co., the average black business launches with just $35,000 in capital in comparison to $107,000 of our white counterparts. Because of the lack of capital, lack of access to resources, and appropriate professional services, 58% of black-owned businesses were at risk of financial distress before the pandemic. Imagine how everyone is doing now. And that's compared to only 27% of white-owned businesses. I have some more facts, bear with me. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, we lost 41% of active black businesses last year from February to April, versus just 22% in the number of overall businesses and only a 14% of white business owners. So the racial disparities and gender disparities are definitely very disparaging. But in spite of these challenges, it's black businesses like C-Suite Coach that are growing every day, and that's why it's imperative that we amplify and highlight these stories and celebrate them. Now, the mission of the C-Suite Coach is to accelerate the world's movement towards equity in the workplace and business. Since launching in 2016, C-Suite Coach has staffed coaches and provided training programs for Google, Major League Baseball, NYU's Veteran Lab Accelerator, Oscar Health, and many others. They've collaborated with CEOs of century-old companies to challenge and shift cultural norms to support black employees. They've offered leadership development programs to support women, Latinx people, and black employees and business owners. C-Suite Coach is also a preferred supplier for Google, with contracts ranging from supplier diversity consulting to content design for racial equity programs. C-Suite Coach, it's a little tongue-tied, it's a little, try to say that 5 times fast. C-Suite Coach is making impact. And as a result, the company and Angelina has been featured everywhere. You've seen her in Forbes, you've seen her on The Breakfast Club, of course on Black Enterprise, CNBC, and Business Insider. Now, C-Suite Coach is on a path to grow, and there is so much more that I could say. But tonight, we're here to celebrate. So have a drink, eat some hors d'oeuvres, meet a friend, network, and of course, figure out how we can continue to support black businesses like C-Suite Coach and black women bosses like Angelina who are just doing it. It takes all of us. If we want to build our community, and I know so many of our communities are built on the backbone of black business owners. So in order for us to thrive as a people, we have to support those right here that we know within our networks, just like Angelina. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Carla Michelle to lead our panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great information. What an honor to be here, and kudos. Oh, there's one.
Speak loud.
We'll share. We'll pass it on. I am Dr. Carla Michelle, and I'll make my intro real brief. I had the opportunity of working with Angelina back in the day, answering an email to come coach for in New York for a job that she had, and I actually took a red eye, coached that day, and then went back home. So I'm from California, and it was such an honor to have that experience and be a part of the great things that she is doing in this across the world. So it's great to be a C-Suite coach and also a coach that is impactful. I have the honor of having a business psychology PhD and a marriage and family therapy master's, where I like to combine the two and work with our lovely executives and all the great things that happen in their head. And it's a great opportunity to help them get over challenges that may hinder them from being the leader that they know they want to be. So thank you. And let me introduce the panel here. We have Ahtis Davis is joined Wells Fargo in 2021 as the consumer and small business, I do not have my glasses, so be nice to me, business head of African American segment strategy, where she leverages her global experience and strategic leadership to develop, lead, and activate Wells Fargo's enterprise strategy to drive market share, revenue growth, and brand reputation with the African American consumer and small business market. Prior to joining Wells Fargo and Company, Ahtis has built a 20-plus year career in financial services at JP Morgan Chase, and the corporate investment bank in New York and London, and most notably established Advancing Black Pathways as the program manager, leading their strategy to help more Black Americans achieve economic success. Ahtis is a graduate of the State University of New York at Albany, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics with a double minor in business and Spanish. Español. Hola. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está? No. And here on my left, you're right.
I have a long bias, so you don't have to read it all. I'm here. In the place to be.
Sekou is here. He's the as head of consumer banking. Tell me when to stop. Banking at Chase for the Northeast Division. Sekou oversees 1,000 branches in 5 regions with 10,000 employees and over $350 billion in deposits and investments. He runs the largest division in consumer banking, which as a standalone is the equivalent of the 4th largest bank in the country. Sekou has a strong track record.
I was going to say, I was going to stop there.
You want me to?
It's the anti-black family part that we'll jump on in.
Okay, he's running the show. We have a great panel here today, so we're going to get some great information. Yes. Well, you know what? Let's go on with the question. All right, I'll start with you. Almost all organizations are expected to experience a crisis during a time of business. A survey recently stated 69% of leaders had experienced at least one corporate crisis from 2014 to 2019, with the average number of crises experienced being 3. So how important is it for upper level management to create a crisis management strategy?
Well, first I would say that if this survey extended into 2021, it would be 100% of companies experiencing crises. We are in one right now. This global pandemic has completely upended many businesses. Small businesses, as we heard earlier, have been hit the hardest. And larger corporations have really struggled to shift to digital, virtual management of employees and delivery of services. The supply chain has been disrupted. I mean, you name it, we're all living it right now. So really, I would say the second part of that question, the importance of crisis management is not emphasized in a crisis, it's before. It's about having a plan. And a very wise leader who I take a lot of advice from talks about crisis management and specializes in crisis management. The time to create a crisis plan is before the crisis. Organizations like JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo, where I spent my career, have crisis plans for everything from disaster recovery, business recovery. We drill and rehearse for crises on a regular basis. We understand where we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to, activate in the event that business goes down in your market, how to transfer things overseas. And so the idea about a crisis plan really is best developed when you're not in a crisis. And when you see companies kind of falter, it's because they didn't have a good plan. Being able to activate that plan in a timely manner is critical. The most important time in a crisis is really the first 24 to 48 hours. And beyond that, it's away from you. So I would just emphasize for any small business owners or any business owners and leaders in the room to really put some thought and some planning and making sure that your company's employees fully understand how to recover, whether it be a physical crisis or even a reputational one. It doesn't have to be a global pandemic. It can be a news article or situation that happens that impacts your company, that you should be ready with a response on how you address that. So
I'll just cover, because you covered a lot there, dropping the wisdom. I'll just wrap it up by saying it was the philosopher Mike Tyson that said everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Well, my revision of that is, if you don't have a plan, you actually get knocked out. Because, as you said, if you don't know what's critical to drive your business and how you plan to manage that disruption, so if it's a supply chain, as she said, if it's credit, if it's customers, if your systems go down, so your crisis plan should be specific to your business, right? It doesn't need to copy that of one of the big banks or companies. You need to know what's critical for whether it's your infrastructure, whether it's your people, and then build your plan around all the operating procedures for your business, because then you know what you need to do. And what is that worst case scenario if you can't sell? Like if you have a store and we just had Hurricane Ida, you can't, what's your online presence? Like you don't want to be thinking that through because the storm happened. You want to have that as part of your business. So as you think about your BAU and daily operations, I would kind of embed that, into your strategy. So how will you adapt when some of those challenging or sometimes unpredictable events occur?
Thank you. Preparation is the key. Don't wait. All right, there. Sum that
That
up.
summary. I'm gonna just say that quickly, then I'm gonna move on to the next one.
Here's your next question, just for you, because you spoke a little bit about recovery. So, when discussing crisis, we often talk about how to prevent them and how to manage them. However, one critical piece that people often leave out is the recovery and reflection portion. How do we move past the surface level conversations of how do we prevent this from happening, and impactful discussions that will enact change within the organization?
Well, I think Ahtis said it best when she said that that first 24 hours could be critical because it may determine how you do need to proceed. So when it comes to recovery, I think it's a matter of one, taking an inventory of where you are, realistic, what's happening, so you understand what play you need to run, and then don't worry about the blame piece. Don't use facts. Operate on facts. Bringing people in. Don't point this way. Well, you were supposed to work on this. Well, you should have done that. Like then you just succumb to the crisis. So that early on, I think one of the first things as you talk about recovery, it should be about implementing the plan that you've come up with, and then being flexible and adapting. Because sometimes the best made plans, as they say, don't necessarily work as well when you have to implement them. So being flexible at the same time, but without at least a framework or structure, it's hard to begin to make it through and understand the steps you need to take while you're in the middle of the crisis. And then you can't recover if you just tread in water. So
I think one thing that I heard often from small businesses during this crisis, as we saw what happened with the disparate PPP distribution, was if, in a moment of reflection, they wish they had a better relationship with their bank. That made a critical difference to being able to access capital when you have or don't have a relationship with your bank or your financial institution. And there are many, many more lessons, but if there's anything that I can impart to this group is to really think about the relationship that you have with your financial institution, whether or not it is serving you, and move accordingly. And I'm saying that bipartisan.
So relationship is an important part of recovery. Don't point the finger. Right, I love it. So we're going to ask this personal kind of question here. Please share a time you've experienced a crisis, what you learned from the experience, and anything you would do differently now. How did it enhance or change the approach to leadership?
So when I think about 23 years, I've had a lot of crises. And they all enhanced my leadership. I think that point around reflection is critical in designing how you move through the crisis and recover stronger than prior. As I think about, even just in this moment, if I can be a little bit vulnerable, I moved organizations 35 days ago. I was at JP Morgan Chase for 23 years, and I moved over to Wells Fargo. Didn't see that coming in a pandemic. But it wasn't out of a crisis, thankfully. I think what is most salient about that reflection for me is to be loyal to myself first. And that's why I said bipartisan. Being loyal to yourself, being your own fiduciary, is most critical. Organizations are here to help support you, but they don't owe you anything. And the lesson for me is, be loyal to myself, and take accountability, take responsibility for myself, and not expect an organization to necessarily take care of me. So I think.
I have a question before you pass it on. You're a 90s song lover.
Yes.
So what song would represent what you've gone through this last year?
Ooh. Wow. Well, my favorite 90s song, well, really of all time, is One More Chance. And I think, this transition over to a new organization represents another chance for me to step into leadership in a new way with, fresh perspectives, no baggage. I'm not looking at you because I'm looking at you. Sekou and I go way back. We've been working together since I was in the corporate investment bank, and we've grown up together in banking. But One More Chance, I would say, really encompasses how I moved into this transition.
The only thing I would say is, don't think about crisis as this catastrophic, large magnitude event. There are day-to-day issues or challenges we deal with. And so my view is how are you looking at it as an opportunity for growth? So if you do an inventory of whenever you hit a difficult point, how did you rise to that occasion? What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about others? And then how do you incorporate that into how you operate in the future? So for me, it's that growth mindset. Thankfully, I've had enough shit to deal with so that when I have to make decisions now, I've built the muscle to figure out or at least identify what may be coming my way. So I'm as crazy as it sounds, I am thankful for the ups, the downs, because it becomes part of how you determine your ability to rise to the occasion, how you figure out you can't internalize some of this stuff, and then again we talk about self-care, and you can start doubting yourself. Is it me? The organization, like you said, they could be thanks for your service, goodbye. So you really have to figure out how I'm anchored, what's my principle, what's my purpose, what's my passion, okay, how is this lesson going to get me closer to fulfilling those things? And so that's how I've looked at hardships that I've faced, and I candidly say I could not do what I do now were it not for not the successes that I've had, but some of the challenging times, right? Because that's where my growth has been, and that's where you really understand what you're capable of. And like I said, it's not just you want to also understand how people operate, right? You understand, if you stand on principle and integrity, and you see some people wavering a little bit in crisis, then that lets me know how I engage with you going forward. So I think it's the opportunity to learn and grow.
Can I just say one quick thing on that? I don't need to move on, but Winston Churchill has a famous quote that says, "Don't waste a good crisis." And by not wasting a good crisis means that, to the point that we talked about earlier around preparation, that you're ready to take advantage of the opportunity that that crisis creates. So just think about in all of what we're experiencing now and the challenges, not to get focused on the challenges, but think about what those opportunities are in the challenge and be the solution to those challenges, because that's where the opportunity is.
That's how you know she's fancy. She's quoting Churchill. I'm quoting Mike Tyson, but it's okay. I think it's okay, but I think that is a great point. Crises can be opportunity. and hopefully you can be moved. And so when you have your personal plan, whether it's your business or how you want to live your life, maybe that's the catalyst sometimes to moving into the space where you should be. That's the little nudge that will move you and allow you to really seize the opportunities that you deserve and that are ahead of you.
So you're a father of 3.
Yes.
So how did leadership affect in your home? You have a son that's, you said, financial savvy. You said that. So did that in any way help what we experienced? How did you feel about and how did it affect your home leadership?
Yeah, I think having children and my son. Quick story. He was. I would read the text to him. He was like, "Dad, he's only 15. Dad, you should buy Bitcoin now. Wait till it gets to 30,000. From what I've seen, these pullbacks could be bullish signs." I'm like, "You're 15 years old. What have you seen? Nothing." But he was right. But that's a different story. So I think having children, for me, it just reminds you real time of the examples you set and the importance of leadership. Right. So yes, I do manage 10,000 people, but my job title only makes me a manager. Like the people make you a leader. Right, and so how I show up every day at home is, in the values we inculcate will really drive our children's opportunity or how they react to crisis. So if they see, that I have some perseverance, that I come together as a family unit, that I have a plan, that sometimes I may be impacted around the George Floyd, that I can be vulnerable, that's how they will basically learn lessons and then map and navigate their approach to the world. So for me, that's really what matters more than these job stuff. It's how my children show up in the world as global citizens. What contribution they're making to the greater good. Do they think that it's only about what I accumulate, or do they feel the responsibility to help others? So I think leadership, whether you're managing a lot of people or just even amongst your friends, it's how you show up in that consistent way. And that people recognize that. So again, you may be a manager, but being a manager is not being a leader. Right, and so that's a lesson that I learned, because people may not want to follow you. Right, you may think you're a leader, but when you turn right, where are people going? Oh, good, he doesn't see us. Let's go there. Right, and so that's how I look at it.
So we're going to just ask this last question here, and you can just spit out maybe some one-word worders here for the future leaders and the leaders who are now. What defines a great leader? Can you do that in one word? Resilient.
Resilient. That's a hard one word. See, I'm known for being a little bit loquacious, so like one word that's limiting. I would say integrity. Because it all, in my mind, stems from that. Like, if I can't follow people, if I don't have a trust and belief in you. I don't care how smart you are, how successful I am. If I don't believe, like, you're going to do the right thing, then at the end of the day, I don't want to be a part of it. More than one word, but, It needs some
integrity. So we've got this, if you've been paying attention, I believe they've dropped some really good nuggets here. We have, like, don't waste a good crisis. That was a quote, and I think that's something to hold on with throughout life. Look at the opportunities and the challenge. Could move you right where you need to be, where you should be. You gotta look at it that way. And remember, people make you a leader. And if you're looking for one word to describe yourself in your next interview, resilience and integrity. Thank you very much. I'm gonna turn the mic over to Angelina.
I want to thank each of my esteemed panelists with a C-Suite Coach tote full of goodies. Sekou said he wasn't going on stage without a big check, so I don't have a big check yet, but I got a C-Suite Coach #goals tote. Thank you, Selena. So normally I would write a speech. Hi everyone, thank you all so much for being here. I just couldn't, because on my way here, my girlfriend had to drive my car so I could do my nails in the car so I didn't look dusty. So I could also be on a conference call with someone, one of my clients. We have a new staff starting on Monday, and it's important we finish some onboarding documents. So I was on a video conference call, doing my nails in my car while someone else is driving, just so I could be here on time. And I really just feel like that speaks to what the life of a business owner is. It has not been easy, and it was hard for me to even just make a decision. Do I want to invest in a celebration? But when I think about my community, my clients, he's left, but one of my clients today had a death in his family this week, and he came just to show his support. And when I think about how much, as a small business owner, your clients become family, it means so much to me that all of you are here, that you all try to bring me more business, that my clients look at me as a big investment. They see the value in what we do, and that means so, so much to me. So I just want to say first of all, thank you. Thank you for donating your time. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your insights. As you may know, we started a couple of months ago. We have regular C-suite coach chats where we bring in academics from Harvard Business Schools, executives from companies like Chase and Wells Fargo, and our coaches. Our coaches are the fabric of our company, right? We do a lot of what we do is based off of coach staffing. So we have 3 services. I'm a business owner, so I gotta tell you how we make our bread. There's 3 things we do. We staff a diverse, curated, very vetted cohort of coaches to our top clients, major Fortune 500 companies. We do all of the operations for diversity programs for large companies. And we also create content to develop Black and brown talent. So that's what we do. So if you know anyone who got a contract opportunity, send it my way. Actually, send it to Jackie's way, because that's really been our business development lead. And on that note, I do have to just give a shout out to my team, because the fact that I could even show up late, which I did today, is a testament of how amazing a team I have. So Jackie, I just want to say thank you. I hired Jackie in a pandemic without even seeing her. I never met her in person, and it was trust that she left her good government job to come work for me. She was working for the mayor of Houston. Kenroy was working in the Department of Education. That's, DOE has pensions, okay? Nobody even got pensions anymore. And he took a chance and came and worked for a small business. I have other folks on my team who aren't here today. I've been able to employ family. I've been able to employ so many people in my network, and we're very intentional about providing opportunities, and I'm so grateful. I could not do any of this without you, Kenroy, without you, Jackie, without Shannon, who's on her way, without Greg, who held me down today. I had a whole bunch of calls for a program we're setting up. So I'm just grateful for growth, and I'm just here to celebrate, and I want you all to just be a part of this. I hope you meet someone new tonight. I want to say thank you, and now let's party. Let's celebrate. Cheers, cheers, cheers. And I hope you learned something today that